When using watercolor paint, you always wet your paintbrush first. Using a wet paintbrush, make a few circles around in the color that you want to use. Now I'm spreading it out onto the sun. I make more circles in the yellow paint to make the color darker and get more paint on my paintbrush. The more circles you make in the color that you want to use, the darker that the color will become. Since I already have yellow on my paintbrush, I'm going to paint other areas of my painting that I would like yellow. So I keep going with the yellow paint, and I paint the sky yellow to make it look like a sunset. If your paintbrush ever becomes dry, just dip it in the water and get a little bit more water on your paintbrush. The water on your paintbrush is going to help to spread the color out. Always press lightly when you are using watercolor paint. Just make light circles in the color that you want to use, and then lightly spread it out across your paper. When you are done using the color, go back into the water and dip it a few times into the water to wash it off. Now, with a clean paintbrush, you can now make some circles in the new color that you want to use. So next I went into the orange paint, made a few circles into the orange paint. You can see that the color is light. By making more circles in the orange paint, the color becomes darker on my paper. You can go back into the orange paint and make more circles and paint any area that you would like orange into your painting. I'm adding a little more water on my brush, and this color is a very light orange. Adding more water will make the color lighter. Making more circles in the paint will make the color darker. Since I'm done with the orange paint, you can see me wash off my paintbrush in the water. Now I can get a new color with a clean paintbrush. I chose red. The red does show up like a pink on your paper. If you would like it to be red, you need to make a lot of circles in the red to make it a darker color. The darker the color it is, the more red it will look. The lighter that the color it is, or the more water you use, the pinker that the color will look. Watch me go back into the water, dip it a few times in the water to wash off that red. Now I make a few circles in the blue, my new color. And I spread the blue color out wherever I would like it to be blue on my paper. My paintbrush is going back and forth to spread out the blue color. Now I wash off my paintbrush in the water, and now I can get a new color. The color I'm using is black, but it shows up gray on my paper when mixed with water. Notice when I make the circles in the color, I am pressing very lightly. Very lightly make a circle in the color that you want to use, and then lightly and softly spread it out back and forth across your paper. Always use a very soft touch when you are using watercolor paint. You softly make the circle in the color, and then softly or lightly spread it out across your paper. Notice my paintbrush is never dry. I always add more water to it if it becomes dry. The more water you add to your paintbrush, the lighter the color becomes. The more paint you add to your paintbrush, the darker it becomes. You can notice this with the paint I'm using now. For the mountains, I go around the edges of the mountains first, and then I go back and forth to fill in the middle of the mountains. Now it is important for me to go back to the water and wash off my paintbrush. Watch me dip it in a few times to wash it off. Now I can get the new color. I make a few circles in the green, and now I start painting a field of green grass. Watch me mix two colors together. First, I go into the water and wash off the green. Now I get my new color, yellow, by making a few circles in it. I can put the yellow over the green on my paper to mix the green and yellow together. When mixing two colors, you put one over the other one on the paper. You never mix two colors of paint together on your paintbrush or Never mix two colors together on your palette. Watch one more time how I mix two colors together. Notice I'm spreading the purple out on part of my paper. Now I'm going to wash the purple off of my paintbrush in the water. Now I make a few circles on the blue and I spread the blue out over the purple. I'm mixing two colors together on my paper, making sure to wash off my paintbrush before I get a new color each time. I hope you've listened carefully and have fun.